Hello and welcome to the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. My name is Lisa, and this is take 2 of an episode that I fully recorded yesterday without sound. Hello, my name is Lisa, and this is the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. Today it is January 17th. It is a Friday. We are in 2025, for better or for worse. It has been a very long time since I sat down to record a video. So I thought the best thing to do to get back into the swing of everything would be to do what everybody does at this time of year and just catch you up on basically everything that I finished knitting in 2024. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to go through everything. I figured I would just do it in chronological order just so I didn't leave anything out. And yeah, full disclosure, I recorded this entire video already yesterday and did not do a sound check with the brand new microphone that my husband gifted me for Christmas. I missed just one step going into my camera settings to get it set up so that the sound would actually work. So I went to edit the video and there was zero sound. So I've done this already. I'm out of practice. I'm frustrated, but you know what? I think this happens to every podcaster at some point or another, and this time it happened to me, and it's just par for the course, as they say. So we're going to try this again today, and I've already done a sound check, so we should be good to do this. Oh my goodness. Okay, so for 2024, I had this idea that I was going to knit 24 finished objects in 2024. I, spoiler alert, did not make that goal, although I was on really good track to make that goal for the first half of the year. I did, however, knit on 24 projects or more, and I did make a lot of progress on many of those projects. So I'm just going to walk you today through everything that I did actually finish, and then in a separate video, I am going to take you through my other projects that I made a lot of progress on and other things that I plan to knit this year. So, all right, let's get started. In January, so I started off the year really strong towards my knit 24 in 24 goal. I decided the best thing to do would be to just go all in and knit a couple of really small, quick wins, right? And so I did a whole bunch of really small projects. The first one that I did is the Into the Pines hat. This is a pattern by Bluebird Pine Shop, and I knit this with yarn from Long Island Yarn and Farm that I naturally dyed with pine cones. We did a year-long collaboration last year, and this was our January colorway. Tabitha asked for something really, really subtle for the new year, and this yarn, I don't know if you can really see, maybe if I come up closer, there is a bit of shimmer to it, and that is a little bit of what she calls her icicle in this base. I'm not really sure if you can see it at all, but there's a slight shimmer to it. But you can see this pine cone motif, which I'm pretty sure was made with like knit two together and slip stitches type of situation. I am not going to go into an excessive amount of detail in this video, especially for the projects that I have shown on the podcast before, which would be like the first half of these projects. So I'm just going to mention them here, and unless I say otherwise, there is an episode that does a deeper dive into these for anybody who's interested. But But yeah, so full disclosure, I have not actually worn this hat at all. And the only reason being that I really want to get a pom-pom for it that matches my winter coat. I have a purple, like a mauvish kind of purple, dusty purple winter coat that has some fur, like faux fur trim around the hood. And I wanted to get a pom-pom that would coordinate with that faux fur. And I just haven't found the perfect one yet. I want a little purplish tinge to it. So kind of like a natural colors with like a slight mauve. So I'm just still searching for the perfect pom-pom. I've not worn this yet, but that's okay. I'm not going to put it on now because, I mean, not that my hair looks great anyway, because I did this video yesterday and my hair was good yesterday, but today it is what it is. I mean, I could put it on, I guess, but I think it's very dry outside because of the weather. And I'm afraid if I put it on, my hair is just going to get super staticky in here right now. So we're not going to do that. But I'm pretty sure I have some pictures, and so I'll either insert a picture of it on or insert like some B-roll of me wearing it later on. So this was my first finished object, just a quick little hat. And again, this is the Into the Pines hat by Bluebird Pine Shop. The second project that I finished, I don't actually have with me to show, but I will insert some pictures, and that is because it was a gift for Owen's friend, Emmy. Her birthday is mid-January, and she's really into frogs and mushrooms and all those cute things. And so I knit her a teeny tiny frog by Hrachovec from Mochi Land. This frog was so cute and tiny. I had bought a little kit at some yarn shop, I don't remember which one, when I was on a vacation at some point. And I think that the kit came with enough to make like 3 tiny frogs and a toadstool or 2. And so I know that I knit her the frog. I don't remember if I also knit the toadstool, like the lily pad. I think I did. Not a toadstool. A lily pad. That's what I meant to say. So I think I might have, but I'll find out when we insert the picture here. But that one turned out really cute, and I think it took me maybe an hour or an hour and a half to knit all together. So again, it was like really sweet, fun, cute little project. A bit fiddly because it was on like size 0 double pointed needles, and it was just so small. But that was another super quick win, putting me at 2 finished objects for the year so far already. I have 2 more finished objects for January. Numbers 3 and 4 were 2 cute little sweaters to go on Mr. Moose. So call him Mr. Moose. I think the official pattern title is just Moose. Moose was a gift that I knit a couple of years ago for my husband. But up until last January, he's been naked. And so I knit him 2 sweaters, both of which the yarn came with in the kit for the moose. And so this one is the vine sweater. This is the only sweater that this moose actually wears. He also has this really cute, I don't know which is the front or back. I don't know if it matters. But he also has this really cute pine sweater, and he hasn't worn this one yet. I mean, I did try it on him, and it looks really, really cute, but it's so, so adorable. My idea was that I would actually knit a second moose to fit into this sweater, and I just haven't gotten around to that yet, but that's okay. I'm gonna put Mr. Moose back over here where he lives, on my shelf right there. You can't see that on the video. Did he fall? He fell. Her kits are so much fun. I have a lot of them just waiting to be knit up, but we, my husband and I, we searched for a moose high and low when we went on vacation in Vermont, and I think we eventually found one in New Hampshire. We had a mission to find a moose, and so we did. We found a moose, and then I knit him a moose, and we just really like moose. So he's so cute. So that's everything that I knit in January. One hat, 2 sweaters for a moose, and a teeny tiny frog. So that's 4 so far. So we're doing really well at this point. So in February, I had my first big finish. While I was doing all of these little tiny projects, I was also working on completing a lot of larger projects that had lingered into 2024 from the previous year. And this is one of them. This is the Hush sweater by Tincan Knits. And it's got this beautiful cable pattern that is on the yoke. The yarn that I used for this is Cascade Eco Duo Natural, something like that. Again, I talked about this in a previous video, so you can always go watch the video from when I was actually freshly completed it. But this was a naturally colored yarn that just kind of knits up in this self-striping pattern. And I think it's like a gray and a brown, and it's alpaca and wool, merino wool. I think it's like a 70%, 30% blend. And it's so soft. I don't know if you can see, like, it's got a halo on it. Yeah, it's really, really cozy. And we have had a lot of very cold weather this winter in New York, and so this sweater is really nice to wear if I need something very warm. So this was Hush by Tincan Knits, and a really great pattern, easy to follow, and my first big sweater project for the year. March was another month of finishing a bunch of smaller knits. So the first finished object in March were these lobster claw mittens. This was just a fun project that I knit up for my son, Owen, who was playing Sebastian the crab from Little Mermaid in his theater production. And so I decided he needed some appropriate mittens for his hands to wear in his show. So this was just a really simple project. The construction was a little bit different. The lobster claw mitts were from Morehouse Designs, and the pattern was pretty simple. This yarn, I don't remember what yarn I used or anything. I think it might have been Barrett Wilco, like leftover from a different kit that I did. These are very warm. I'm not going to go into any further detail. I know that I talked about these on a podcast, but this was just a really fun knit that I did for Owen, and I think he's not wearing these anymore, which is why I have them here. So they're very fun though. So yeah, lobster claw mitts was the first finished object in March. And then after the mittens, I knit another hat. So this is the Manhattan hat, bulky. And this is a pattern by Tori U. And I wear this hat all the time. I think this might be my favorite hat that I have ever made. The colors, if I hold them this way, you can see really well. So maybe I'll hold it on this side of me. The colors, I think the yarn was Brooklyn Tweed Quarry. And so it's like this really beautiful, I can't really think of the name of the color right now, but that yellowish green that's really trendy. And I had gotten this in somebody's D-stash like so many years ago, and I don't really buy a lot of bulky yarn, so I just hadn't used it, and I just had this one single skein, and it was absolutely perfect for this project. I have a coat that I wear in the fall that is a similar color green to this, so I usually wear this hat with that coat, and it works really, really well together. So I have gotten quite a lot of use out of this hat. This is definitely a favorite. I would definitely knit this pattern again. I would also like to try knitting the other versions that she has of this hat. I think she has maybe, I don't know if it's a DK weight or a fingering weight or I don't know, or just like a worsted weight, but I know that there's other versions of the Manhattan hat that she has done with different weight yarns, and so this is a pattern that I would knit up again. And I'm also interested in trying her other patterns as well. This is the first thing that I've ever knit from her, so this was another quick win. This one put me at 7 finished objects. I had one more finished object for the month of March, and that was a pair of socks. I am going to put these on some sock blockers because they look pretty funny without without the sock blockers. I'll just put one of them on. There we go, that's better. So I knit this pattern. It's the wide rib sock pattern by Summer Lee, and I knit this pattern because I was looking for a project where I could use my mini skein sock sets that I have in my shop, in my Stop, Drop, and Knit shop. And so I tend to have a lot of 5 mini skein sets in my shop because I naturally dye my own yarn, and I can really only do that in very small batches. So it makes more sense for me to dye a lot of mini skeins more than full-size amounts. And so these were dyed with just 2 materials. The green and the yellow were both from Goldenrod, and the purple, pink, and gray were all made with avocado. So I think that these are really cute. The rib pattern, like the fit is amazing because as you can see, when it's not freshly blocked, it just scrunches up like this. So naturally it hugs my feet really well, and I've got really narrow feet, so the ribbing on the socks is a really good solution for socks on me. Hand knit socks, when I knit just plain vanilla socks, they tend to be a little bit on the looser, baggier side, even if I'm knitting at a small gauge with a small stitch count. So I tend to like at least a little bit of ribbing in my socks. I find the fit much better. And so I'm really happy with how these turned out. This was my spring fling sock set, and so I think I have a couple more that might come back into the shop in another month or so. So you can look out for those at a future update. So at this point, we're doing really well because I'm at 8 finished objects and we're only a quarter of the way through 2024. So I thought that I had this knit 24 and 24 goal in the bag at this point because I was doing awesome. But I don't think we got all the way there. That's okay. The first project I finished in April is one of my favorite things I've ever made. This is Happy Bunny, and he is a Susan B. Andersen pattern, and he's so cute. His tail is not so good. I don't know. I didn't do such a great job knitting him up, attaching the pom-pom, but that's okay. So his name is Happy Bunny. He is a kit from Susan B. Andersen, Barrett Wilco, and this one I call Felix because he looks like my bunny, my English Angora bunny, Felix. And I think it's really funny, like you can't really see his eyes that well because they're black and the yarn is really marled. But it's really kind of perfect because Felix is an English Angora bunny, so they have fur covering their entire faces, which means that you can actually only see their eyes if their head is facing a certain direction. So he's just kind of perfect. So I love him so much. I actually also knit him a cute little sweater, a cardigan, and a hat. So I'm gonna put these on really quick. He's so cute in these. The yarn for the clothes also came in the kit, and she also always gives you the option to add on the buttons if you want to. Just get him dressed here. He doesn't wear his cardigan and hat that much because I usually just have him in the bed. But you know what? It is very cold outside right now, so maybe he needs a little extra warmth. So here's the cardigan on him. Look how handsome he looks. He's so, so cute. She always gives you the option of including or not. You can add on these wooden buttons, and so I just think that the buttons are always such a nice touch, and so I always add them on when I can. So cute. I'm gonna put his hat on now too, so he'll be all ready for going outside on this crisp, cold winter day. So cute. There. There you go. There he is. Isn't that just so adorable? So he is so, so sweet. I have the yarn. I have another kit with a white marled yarn to, I think it's like white and natural. And I'm gonna make another one. So I have two bunnies. My other bunny, Elmer Fuzz, is white, and so I need another happy bunny this year, so I need to knit up my other one of these. I forgot also, I have some of Felix's actual wool in here. When I do their haircuts, there's always second cuts which are not as nice quality for spinning, and so I took some of that wool and actually put it inside of him. So Felix, Happy Bunny Felix, has some real Felix wool in him. So he's just so sweet. He is a favorite. So that's number 9, number 8, no, yeah, number 9, my first finished April knit. My next finished object is another pair of socks. These are the Silly Goose socks by Charlotte Stone. I'm also going to go ahead and put this on the sock blocker. The sock is actually a little bit too loose for the blocker. That's okay. So I love these socks so much. I used my own naturally dyed yarn for these socks, but I'm not happy with the colors that I chose because you can't see the details of the geese very well. So like you can't see their beaks or their feet at all. But I was just trying to use some yarn that I wasn't happy with, that I wasn't going to sell, but is still perfectly usable. And so like you can even see like the orange that I used in the contrast like toe and heel. It's just not very bright. This was actually a failed pokeberry dye bath. I overheated it. The pokeberry was supposed to be a bright fuchsia, and I accidentally overheated the dye bath and it went orange. So This was a yarn that I was not going to sell, but I still wanted to use it, and I didn't really know what I could over dye it with that would, you know, make it better. So I just used it for this. I like how she has like the little stripe. There's like this random yellow stripe and the ribbing. I was so proud of myself for knitting this pattern because these were the first ever colorwork socks that I was successful with. I had tried to knit colorwork socks a couple of times in the past and had never been able to get them over my heel. And so I was really, really careful with this pattern with my tension. And probably, I think I also went up an extra needle size, maybe to a size 2. Then I usually knit my socks on a 1 or a 0 because I have such small feet. So these, truthfully, they're a little bit looser than I would like as far as the fit goes. And I think the length is also a little bit too long for my feet, but I still wear them. They're super warm and they're so cute. The only other thing that I'm not really happy with is that, you know, I just chose colors that doesn't fully feature the geese so well. I don't think I've ever shown these on the podcast, so that's why I'm talking about it in a little bit more detail right now. I'm trying to hide my face so we can just get in. So you can't really see so well that they're geese. Like, I know that they're geese. Maybe this side. Oh, this side is so much nicer. They definitely look nicer on this side. So these haven't been blocked in a while, and like you can see they're definitely way too big for the sock blocker, but I love the pattern. I want to knit this pattern again and just make sure that I choose a yarn that is going to really show off that they are geese. So I think the only thing that I needed to change was the orange to something a lot brighter. I think the rest of it works really well, and I don't mind having a really neutral sock in my collection because I always choose really, really bright colors, and this is more like a khaki kind of beige-ish color. I chose this color because she had also featured a couple of different colorways of like this pattern knit up, and the background for one of them was a color that, like, she called it goose poop. And so I looked at this color and I was, you know, that could be goose poop. And so I just went with it. But so they're cute. They are not perfect, but I'm still really proud of them because they fit over my feet and they're very warm. So I have purchased both of her color knit, color work sock books. One of them I've had for a long time, Charming Colorwork Socks, and the other one she just released at the end of 2024, and I think it's called Joyful Colorwork Socks. And so I'm definitely going to be knitting more of her patterns because this was so much fun to knit, and her designs are just very whimsical, and I really like whimsical things. And yeah, I think that more colorwork socks will be in my future. So, Silly Goose socks. And then I got into crochet. So I completed my first crochet project. This is Mateo, and he is an avocado, and he is a Woobles kit. And I have become seriously addicted to these little Woobles. They are so much fun to knit up. We have Felix the Fox right here is one that Owen knit up, or crocheted up. I probably keep saying knit because that's what I'm used to, but Owen did this, so I think he's so cute. He did most of this all by himself, and then I just helped like with the face details and the ears and things. But this was the first Woobles kit that we had ever had, and so I got this avocado because at the time I was dyeing a lot of yarn using avocado stones and peels and skins, and so I just at the time wanted to knit up or crochet up a little avocado, and he is so cute. So he lives on my shelf in the green section. I have another pair of Colorwork socks. This was my finished object for the month of May. These are the Pressed Flower Socks by Amy Christoffers. And again, these are maybe a little bit big on me. I haven't quite gotten like my colorwork gauge down yet, but they're so cozy and they're so warm. And unlike the stranded colorwork from like the Silly Goose socks, this is actually mosaic knitting, so it is slip stitches. I have yarn to make her cardigan, the Pressed Flowers cardigan, and so I think like doing these socks has really got my motivation up for actually knitting up the cardigan now. But the yarn that I used for these socks also is my naturally dyed yarn. I did a year-long collaboration with Tabitha at Long Island Yarn and Farm, and so this used 2 of the fingering weight yarns of her base, and so the brown I dyed with black walnuts, and the beautiful pale yellow was dyed with dandelions. And I think I used 4,000 dandelion flowers to dye this yarn because I needed to dye 20 skeins of it, and you need quite a lot of the flowers to get like any kind of really saturated color to show up. So I think I used like 4 dye baths that had 1,000 flowers each. I definitely counted. It was a lot of flowers. If you're just gonna dye up a couple of skeins, you don't need more than a few hundred, but yeah, I had a lot to do. But I love these colors together. They kind of give me like a 70s vibe, but it's just, they're very, very classic. And I think they're so pretty. The only thing about this pattern that I really didn't like is that she uses 2 different charts for the flower placement. And so the 3 rows of flowers at the top on the cuff is her like the cuff chart, and you can see like they're squished together, and then they become more spread out as you go further down the sock. And so to my eye, just the spacing is not consistent, and so that bothers me. So I don't know how I would maybe just change that if I did these. If I ever knit this pattern again, I might not do both the cuff chart and the other chart. I might combine them somehow for more consistency. So I don't know why I'm holding them all like all the way over there. But so that was my second pair of socks. No, this was my 3rd pair of socks. So I knit 3 pairs of socks this year. That was number 12. So at this point we were at May, and I was halfway through to my goal. This is Editing Lisa. When I was going through my photos, I realized that there's actually a 4th pair of socks that I knit this year. I don't have a picture of the socks completed, but these are the My Knitted Heart Vanilla Socks pattern by Elizabeth Suarez, and I used yarn by Woolens and Nosh in also the Pressed Flowers colorway. But they're in my dirty laundry right now, so I will have to dig them out at some point in the future and show them on a podcast, I suppose. But trust me that they're finished. I wear them actually quite often. So anyway, I forgot about that one. So I just wanted to throw that in quickly. In June, I was contacted by the company Yeezhee they wanted to see if I wanted to get their Crochet Basket kit and do a video for them. And so I said, okay. And so I crocheted up my first basket. I'm not going to talk too much about this one here. It's not my favorite project. I'm actually It's only holding my leftovers so far. But basically it was like this like tape yarn, which is kind of like a t-shirt yarn, but this is 100% acrylic. And to get the fabric to be very sturdy, I don't know, like it kind of hurt my hand crocheting it up because some of the stitches were super duper tight. But it functions. It's wonky. I did something wrong, and again, like to my eye, like my spacing is off. Like this row is too close to this one, and it needed to be over like one stitch to be perfectly spaced. I mean, it's consistently wrong. I'm really good about being consistent, at least, but that bothers me. But it's okay. It functions as a basket. I don't think that I would knit one again, at least not with this yarn. Maybe I would do it again with something more sturdy, like a wool or a cotton or something like that. But yeah, but it's just, it functions. I have a whole video showing me working on this one, but this was my first and only thing that's not a cute little amigurumi that I have crocheted. So there's that. In July, I started working on some Christmas stockings because I wanted to Christmas in July knitting. And so I have kits to make 4 stockings. This is kits from Barrett Wool Co. And the yarn is in the kits, but not the pattern. So you have to buy the pattern separately. I'll insert the pattern somewhere because offhand I have no idea who the designer is. But this one is from my husband, and it's got a bird, and it's so pretty. The knitting is finished, but I've been afraid to wet block it because of the red and white. Like, I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. So I might do like a little swatch first and make sure that the red's not going to bleed. But I could also just steam block it. I haven't done it yet because I was scared. And I thought maybe I would knit up at least the other red one first and maybe try to do them together. But I have kits for 4 stockings, even though there's only 3 of us. And there'll be a bunny and a mushroom for me, which is perfect because I've got the bunnies and I do yarn dyeing with mushrooms. And then the other 2 in the green are going to be, I think one is a squirrel and one is a deer, and they're super sweet. But this was, I think it's beautiful, and I love it so much. I was hoping to get more than this one knit up, and I just never got back to this project after finishing this one. So we haven't used it yet. I did something totally wrong when it came to the heel. It's all, I think there's like way too many stitches. I don't know what I did, but it's wrong and it looks totally wonky. And I'm not gonna bother fixing it because I figure when, like, it doesn't have to fit over like a foot or anything. It's just gonna hold gifts, and I think it'll serve its purpose. And I think just, yeah, I don't know, it looks a little bit weird, but I think when it's full of gifts and everything, that it's gonna be fine. So I'll try to do better on the next one. And I don't know if it really bothers my husband, maybe I would fix it, but probably not. Probably just gonna leave it like this. So I've got 3 more to go, so hopefully we'll be seeing this project in some of the other patterns this year, and I'll knit at least another one up. So hopefully that'll come soon. In August, I crocheted up another of these Woobles kits. This is Alice the Strawberry, and I brought Alice with me when Owen and I flew down to visit my parents in South Carolina, and when we got down there I crocheted Alice up, and then I actually flew back home and he stayed to have a little vacation with my parents, his grandparents. And so I left this with him so that he would have it to enjoy and think of me when he missed me, which was a lot. But she is so cute. So I just love her a lot. So she now lives in the red section on the bookcase. And then I have my next and only like really big finished knit. So I was hoping to finally make it to Hrachovec this year. I did not, but with the idea that I was going to go to Hrachovec, I decided to knit along, and I did Andrea Mowry's framed sweater. So this has never been shown on the podcast before. I don't have time to do a deep dive into this right now, so I'm just going to show it quickly. It's actually not 100% finished. You can see I still have to finish weaving in the ends, but it is blocked. And the yarn that I used was one of the Farmer's Daughter Fibers kits, right? That's what Farmer's Daughter Fibers, I think. Yeah. One of her kits. The kit was called Purse First, and I think that was the color changing yarn here. So it's a little, there you go, you can tell the color is a little better. The color changing yarn goes through purples and pinks, and then it's like a grayish in the neutral color with the teal for the ribbing. So I just need to weave in the ends. I haven't done that because I've been waiting to film a podcast, and I really need to because the weather has been really cold, and from everything I hear, this is a very, very warm sweater, being that it is worsted weight color work. So I'm gonna get on this now. I am going to weave in the ends, and in my first actual podcast episode where, you know, we're doing normal whips and FOs and everything like that, I'm hoping that this will be my first, like, what am I wearing sweater. So I'll talk about it more at that point. But yeah, this was a big finish. I started this one in September and I didn't finish it. I finished it Hrachovec weekend, and it was blocking while everybody was at Hrachovec, and that was okay. Like, I made that goal. I would have pushed harder to have it like completely finished had I actually been able to attend Hrachovec, but that's okay. Like, I'm kind of enjoying the monogamous knitting and having projects that are actually like all the way finished instead of just halfway done, a whole bunch of them. So I think being more monogamous with my bigger knits is going to be something that I do more frequently this year. So yeah, so we'll be talking about this one again very soon, now that I am back to podcasting and it is very cold outside. So I definitely am excited to wear that one. In October, and I can't find the other part of it, but I crocheted another Woobles. This is Pierre the Penguin, and usually he comes in a blue yarn, but this was a Halloween color, and he actually has a little pumpkin outfit that I crocheted for him too, and it's so cute, and I have no idea where it is. I couldn't find it. I don't know where I put it, but I'll try to find a picture of what it's supposed to look like when he's wearing the costume. I totally crocheted it up, and I just don't have any idea where it is. But he's so cute. So that's Pierre, and he lives in the purple section. I think part of the reason I like these so much is because they're just rainbow. And so they have an easy home in my rainbow section here. All right, so I only have a few more minutes to record, and that's good because I'm on my last few projects, and these are all spinning projects. I think I have enough time to share them. So my first hand spun yarn is a merino yarn, and this was a fiber braid from Dancing Skies Fibers, which was part of a kit that Paradise Fibers sent with their monthly subscription club a couple of years ago. And I think the colorway is called Patty. I was thinking, like when I was looking at this yesterday when I was recording, I was like, I don't really love this one that much. But then I realized that the colors are very like Halloween-y. And now I like it a whole lot more, thinking of it as like a Halloween yarn. I think is really, really nice. So, I mean, it wasn't my favorite. I did this like I do everything on my drop spindle. And I'll just, you know, hold it up, stand up so that we're not getting my face in there. So hopefully it'll focus on the yarn. But you can see it's mostly like orange and green and blues and purples the way that it blended. I think in the braid, the colors were more, it was more like a rainbow without red in it. So there was orange and yellow, green, blue, and purple, and white. And yeah, now that I've got this and I'm thinking Halloween, I do like it a lot better. So I have no idea what I'm going to use this for. Maybe I'll do some kind of Halloween colorwork project, or yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll pair it with something maybe gray or darker. I have no idea at this point, but it's giving me Halloween vibes. So this was the only merino, like wool yarn that I spun. The other two things that I have to show you are so different from one another, and I will definitely be going into a deep dive with each of these things in future episodes. But I only have enough time to briefly show them. So hang on one sec. Okay, so this one's gonna be super hard to see. So I'll insert some pictures for sure, but I just have a little sample. All right, so I do natural dyeing, which means that I'm out foraging for natural materials all the time. And I got really curious about, like, anytime I see something like a plant or something that I don't know what it is, I take pictures of it, and then I use like apps and I do some research to try to get a proper identification. And so I got really curious about plant fibers that I could go forage myself and learn how to process them and spin my own plant fibers that I've actually collected out in the wild on my own. And so I did a sample from 3 different plants, and the 3 different plants were milkweed, oriental bittersweet, which is an invasive plant here, and dogbane, which is Indian hemp, which I have like an endless supply of where I am. So that's the one I'm going to be really going into a deep dive with. But I only was able to find a small amount of milkweed, and I only just grabbed a small bit of the oriental bittersweet, which I actually collected accidentally, and then realized that it was a fibrous plant. And so I'm gonna see if I can get this to focus in here. But you can see there's 3 different colors. And what I did was I made a 2-ply. I made a 2-ply from each of the 3 materials. So there's the one that is more whitish looking is the milkweed. The one that looks a little bit more green is the oriental bittersweet. And then the brownish reddish one is the dogbane. And it's a little hard to see the greenish one in here, but I spun a 2-ply yarn out of each material, and then I corded them together in like a 3-strand barber pole twist. But you can see, like, this is so strong. This is so strong. So I didn't measure this. I don't have a lot. I can't really imagine that I'm going to use this for anything except just like being proud that I have it, basically. So I have a lot of dogbane that I am going to continue to experiment with in the future, and I've been doing a really detailed video on that for you guys. But yeah, I have this like this small amount of twine essentially that I made from plants that I foraged myself, which is really awesome. The final thing, my final project of 2024 was getting some of the fiber from my Angora bunnies spun up. And so I have samples from each of them right here. And so I'm gonna share those. So this is what I have from my bunnies. They're so cute. I have already shown this one before. Try to get my, just stand up so that it focuses better. This is Felix's baby wool. So this was not great quality spinning fiber because the baby wool just has a much shorter staple length, and it's, you know, it's just basically like really soft floof. But this basically I wanted to have just a little memento from his baby wool. And then I'll show this one. This is a single of Elmer Fuzz. And so this is just a single ply right now. And so I just have it on like a toilet paper roll just to keep it from getting knotted up on itself. And I don't know if it's focusing very well. But so I have a little bit more to work with. So you can see it says 2023. So when I do their haircuts, I collect their wool and I put like the date on the bag so that I know what year and what month it was from. And so I have so much wool from both of them now, but I was just trying to get through all of the wool from 2023 haircuts. And so Elmer Fuzz only had, I think, 2 haircuts in 2023 because he only came to me like midway through the year. So I was able to get all of his wool spun up. It is so beautiful. This is seriously the absolute softest thing I have ever made in my entire life. It is just stunning. It is so, so pretty. And so what I did was, this is a 2-ply, and this one, the Felix's baby wool, is also a 2-ply. I have a lot more of Felix's 2023 wool that I still need to make into yarn. They're currently just in Rolags waiting for me to spin them. But the single that I just showed you plus this finished 2-ply yarn is everything from Elmer Fuzz his 2023 haircuts. And so I just did this on my drop spindle. You can see it's basically like really thick and thin and imperfect, and I don't know if you can see the halo, but it's so shiny. It's got such a sheen to it, and it is like the softest thing ever. And I don't know if I'll knit this up into anything or just keep it as a memento from Elmer Fuzz. I don't know. And then what I did was I had enough spun up from Felix in a single ply and from Elmer leftovers to make a sample of the 2 bunnies together. And so this is both of my bunnies in a yarn, and this might be my favorite thing in the entire world. Probably never gonna use it. I have no idea. I will be using their wool, but I think I want to have something that just never gets worked up, that I can just, you know, like visit with in the future. They're not going to be with me, right, forever. So you can see, I think, that halo is so fuzzy around there. It is so pretty. So I'll untwist this one really quick. And then that is everything. Let's see. Let's bring it closer. So again, it's really thick and thin and imperfect and imperfectly perfect, as I like to say. So it's, I don't know if the camera is focusing really well or not, but this is my bunnies, and it's so soft and so perfect. And officially, that is everything that I finished, all of my creative projects from 2024. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm really happy that I finally got back to podcasting and that we appear to have sound this time. I will seriously cry if any of this didn't work and I have to do it again, but I think that we're good. I think we're good this time. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I promise I will be back soon with another video showing you all the other things. I had a lot of long-term projects that I made serious progress with also in 2024 that I did not share in this video. So I will come back and share updates on those projects very soon. And then I plan to resume recording like regular podcasts with like whips and things I'm working on currently and all of that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that everybody is safe and happy. I know it has already been a roller coaster of 2025 for a lot of people. So with that being said, I wish everybody well, health and happiness this year. I've missed you and I love you. Bye.